addition to the intellectual aspect of it. We can have slow movements, we can have fast movements, we can have staying in postures, okay? So the fast or explosive strength, we're not going to deal with today. For another day. From my perspective, it's because it takes a lot more experience to do explosive strength and become healthier from it rather than risk injuries. Okay? So we're left with two things. One is repetitions and the other is staying in postures. Now a posture like, since we're dealing with strength, right? A posture like the chair, we would like to be able to stay in it. The base time is about 3 minutes or so. And we want to be able to stay in it comfortably for that length of time. And it can take a while to build up. Okay. So how do we build it? Today we start by doing a relatively large number of repetitions. Now, remember that the idea is not to tire yourself out. Okay? And I want to illustrate this. If you can please imagine for each one of you that you have an identical twin. And the only difference between you and your twin is that your twin is in a crazy shape. Okay? A lot stronger than you, and a lot faster than you, and a lot whatever. Okay? Just in a massive, massive fitness level. Much bigger than yours. Now, imagine you and your twin are going on a run. You're going to run 5 miles, okay? And at the end of the run, who here can run 5 miles easily? No one. Okay, good. I got good numbers then. At the end of the 5 miles, you're sweating, your heart beats like crazy, you're tired, you're ready for your cup of latte or whatever it is that you drink. Now, your twin is in a massive level of fitness. He can turn around and run another 5 miles. Why? Because great shape, doesn't even sweat, barely breathing hard, no problems with the muscles. Okay? As an outsider looking at you and your twin, what I see is that this 5-mile run was hard for you and easy for your twin. Okay? So the easier it is for you to run your 5 miles, the better shape you're in. Okay? The easier it is for you to do a 3-minute chair, the better shape you're in. It's got nothing to do with working hard. Working hard only tells you you don't have the fitness level to do it. And forcing it, well, that's entertaining. And this is the way that our society deals with things. If you can't do it, then punish yourself and your body and work really hard. And if you don't get injured, who was it? We were sitting somewhere, and a guy limps in, he's on crutches. What happened? He was in some martial art class and hurt himself so badly that now he can't train for a half a year. I think that was a bad idea, right? So we want to train in this quirky way in which we don't push ourselves to the limit, because it only tells us where the limits are, which are good to know, so you don't, pass them and injure yourself. But in the general gist of training, we want to stay in the area of things that we can already do. Okay? So, how on earth are we going to get stronger if we're only doing things we can already do? And the answer is by repetition. Okay? So, we will use that a little bit later when we do push-ups. Because everybody likes to do push-ups. Why are we going to do push-ups? Because they are movement between two yoga postures. One is the plank and one is Chaturanga Dandasana, which everybody knows what it is. No? The plank, okay, the low to the ground, parallel, but on the hands and the toes. Everybody can do that, right? No? Okay, we'll work on that. All right. So, we want to, again, get into this state of being in which we realize we can gain greater strength, not by forcing our body past its limits, which is the normal thing that they do in gyms, for instance. Oh, you can run for 20 minutes, push it, run for 22, it's good for you. If you don't get injured, if you don't tear any muscles, if you know, whatnot else. But we want to be gentler and kinder because we want to ask the body to do things. Let it upgrade itself, and then we can do those things, and we simply repeat the process again and again. A very, very different perspective, and that's the hardest thing about this whole system. Okay? It goes exactly contrary to everything you're taught out there. So, good luck with that. Now, let's return to our chairs and see what the break did for us. Because, as I mentioned, we're asking the body to do something, we give it time. Maybe it will upgrade itself. Okay? So we're going to start simply by getting up slowly a couple of times in the middle and see if that's already more familiar and easier and simpler for you to do. Okay? And slowly like that. If something was nicer than before. Okay, just twice like that. And then 2 attempts to get up over one leg primarily. You don't have to succeed, okay? Just attempts. And see if that became easier to do. And then, of course, over the other leg. I see some people have started turning and twisting. Good. Very nice. And, of course, over the other leg. Nice. Very nice. So here's our little trick here, okay? I want to, again, I'll demonstrate because if I can get up more easily than before, because let's say I practice for a few minutes, and I can get up more easily over one leg than I could before, okay? So I'm using fewer muscles, but I'm using them better because I can do it more easily. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, in other words, my internal coordination is better. Okay? And then I practice a little bit and I can get more easily over the other leg. Okay, why? Because I practiced and I insisted on being nice and kind and taking my time. Now, if I can get more easily on one leg than I could before, and more easily on the other leg than I could before, what can we expect will happen when I get up in the middle? Should be easier. Let's test. Try it and to see if you manage to arrange it. Okay? Now, if you are able, after a little bit of practice, I do a lot of talking, you did a little bit of practice, if you manage to improve the way that you get up from a chair, in just a few minutes of practice, how much better can you get at it if you practiced for, let's say, 5 minutes a day for the next 2 weeks?
Much better.
Okay? Much better. Does anybody have a doubt that you will keep getting better? Okay. So what will happen then to your ability to do the yoga posture we call the chair?
It'll
Should get better also, right? Yeah? Even though you're not practicing it directly, but you're practicing movements and actions that are related to it. Okay? So this is one of the processes that we can do. We do the opposite of what we're supposed to do because we're learning to get up rather than going down. We do it easily. We do a couple of parts to it, or 2 or 3 different variations. We get better at it. Okay? Questions about that process in general? So we're going to use that in a little bit for our push-ups.
So you twisted, I walked, you were twisting a little bit.
Yes.
You were.
Uh-huh, yeah. I have no need to restrict myself to getting up straight. So I'm saying, okay, how can I get up more easily? And I try and give it a few seconds and try again and give it a few seconds and try again. And my body figures out. Some of you started turning the torso like this, moving more weight to this side to make it easier. There are many different ways of doing it. What we want to do is feel or sense our way to doing it, rather than intellectualize our way to doing it. Because intellectualizing never takes your particular tensions and difficulties into account. It takes an idealized person into account. Okay? And I have a great interest in you taking you into account right now. Okay? So, other things? Let's stand up, move away from the chair. Try the chair again with a little twist here again. Your goal is to go down. Okay, let's assume that we all know that we want to go down to being with the hips level with the knees and the arms up towards the ceiling, looking up this way. Okay, let's assume this is where we're heading.